Hello and greetings from the Laughing Tree Inn. I wanted to take a moment to remind you all of our ongoing giveaway for a dice chest by the Lazy Fox Creates. Lazy Fox Creates is an Etsy store that produces leather goods such as journals, dice bags, dice chests, dice trays. They've recently released some pretty cool looking cat-shaped dice trays, which are awesome. And we encourage you to go check them out. You can find a link to their shop in the description for this video. And this lovely dice chest is an example of the one that will be given away next week. To be entered, all you need to do is comment on our most recent video, so this video. There will also be another opportunity to enter on our Khyber Shards answers at the end of this week, and on the tweets about this giveaway. If you follow us and you reply to those tweets, you'll also be entered. So there are up to 5 entries out there if you've already commented on the most recent videos. So please do so and have your opportunity to win this super awesome gift. Without further ado, Khyber Shards. Hello, and welcome to Khyber Shards, a 5th edition actual play show set in the Eberron campaign world. On our previous adventure, the party pursued Tyrus the Shaper, Daedalus, through his greenhouse of doom, rescued Dane, but in their eagerness to murder the heck out of the bad guy, spent a lot of time running through fire. And this, as we know, is bad for the physical body. And so...
But on brand for this party. So.
You live and you learn.
Highly on brand for this party. And so, both Esri and Nardali were rendered unconscious by the flames, and Esri expired in Ari's arms. Shade, in a desperate act, activated the transportation function of her armor, the gift of the Sphinx, and transported herself, Esri, and Ari, third wheel, along...
What? You have no reason to go talk to a Sphinx.
I didn't ask to be brought
out of the area.
Shade chose to bring me.
Pog and Cal heroically carried Nardali to safety, and Dane was able to perform a medicine check to stabilize Nardali. And so Pog and Nardali and Dane sat outside the very benign-seeming exterior illusion of this place until it, too, collapsed as the inner building collapsed in on itself, leaving behind a giant pit of twisted metal and glass. But, meanwhile, in Shaterius Talai, Ari, Shade, and the corpse of Esri appear in Harazi's lair.
Ugh.
The lights glow in the main area where you spoke to Harazi before, and slowly brighten as if sensing the presence of people. They slowly raise to a brightness.
Help!
Shade, what?
Help!
Why are we? What? What happened?
This is...
It's okay, buddy.
Someone's calling for help.
Ari sets
Yep.
Ari sets Esri's body on the ground.
There is a noise of something heavy landing above you, and then an opening on the upper floor of this chamber appears in the wall, and through it the shape of Harazi comes. She comes bounding through with a growl on her, with a grimace on her face, and arrives, claw raised, and then sees who it is. Shade.
I don't know what to do. He is not waking up, and you're I didn't know what else to do. You seem to have a lot of knowledge and magic. Can you help him?
She drops down onto the floor and looks at Esri's body. He's dead.
He's done that before, and then he's come back, and so I know it can happen, but I don't know how to do it.
I don't have the magic to bring him. When did this happen?
Minutes ago.
This is very dangerous for me to do.
For who?
Everyone.
Oh.
Is there somewhere we could take him that it would be less dangerous, or someone else that could?
We must go back to where it happened.
That's on fire. I mean, we can go back.
Shade or Ari, give me an insight check. Actually, Ari's terrible at insight. Shade, give me an insight check.
That's a sphinx.
I rolled
Lion
an
person
11.
pretty.
I cannot push.
Okay. You see the exact motive behind it is not clear, but you see almost fear on her face as she is obviously weighing this decision.
Can I make a persuasion check to convince her?
You can try. What are you saying?
I mean, Ari's just pleading, like, please, we don't know what else to, we don't have anything else that we can do. Ironically, he's the only one that I feel like could deal with this situation, and we can't lose him. Please.
And if you're scared of the people who are chasing you, you can always come live at our mansion.
Ari, make a persuasion check. Shade helped.
So advantage?
So advantage.
$22. On both rolls.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you.
She... Okay. Yeah. She walks over to a panel, which sort of raises out of the wall and lays her paw on it. And you see sigils rapidly shifting, and you feel the entire place begin to vibrate. And then there's this sort of vertigo sensation. Pog. Dane, as he's doing CPR on Nardali, once he's got her stabilized, he sits back against the wall and then looks down and begins to chuckle. Did you know she had a healing potion the whole time?
I'm gonna be honest, Dane. I don't know much about her at all, to be honest.
He leans down and takes the potion and sort of tilts Nardali's head up and pours the potion down Nardali's throat. This was just
better late than never, huh?
2d4 plus 4. Nardali, you regain 9 hit points.
Thank you.
All right. I swear I didn't engineer for you to wake up and do
Yeah, this isn't. This is not helping the crush situation at all.
And she takes 10 stun damage and she's out again. So.
Yeah.
But you swoop. Yeah.
Got the face.
I'm sorry. How many points was that again? I'm trying to.
9.
Thank
You
you.
got 9 back. But from a Nardali perspective, some guy is holding you.
Some dude.
But before you can really react to that in whatever way Nardali would, there's a noise that is this sort of loud humming sound, and the ground and the air a little bit away from the ruined cabin begins to blur, and then a building comes into view on it.
Pog stands up and
Did the-
draws
Which-
Fury's Edge
Hog has seen before.
until he realizes.
Hog,
he
you've
goes,
seen this building before.
Oh,
Yeah.
where did we go?
Did the sigils that activated to get us here, Philip, did they look similar to that weird room in the basement of the manor?
No.
Okay. Thought we had a teleportation.
That would be very cool.
And
it would be and handy.
an opening in the top appears, and you, Pog, see Harazi step out, look over the scene.
Hi.
This will not be entirely pleasant.
What are we doing?
None of this has been.
She touches the wall next to her, and it rises out, and the lines come out onto the outside of the wall, and the lights and sigils begin to move really, really rapidly around the
Oh no!
around the building. And I'm going to cut out this really long pause while I get this fixed.
I've never wished that the initiative
You
order was
all-
different more than this moment.
You all get this deep, sickening vertigo feeling.
Oh my god.
So this half of the building's on fire.
Ah!
Are we back in place?
Shade, Dane is on your arm. Staggering Pog, your arms are full of books. Nardali, you and Cal are over here. Tyrus is looking around, trying to find a way out. And Ari, you have just pulled Esri up from the water. Okay. Esri, you have one failed and one succeeded death save.
So I've just pulled him. So do I get to make the medicine check?
Sure. You successfully stabilize Esri.
Do we retain our memories? Like, do we know?
Yeah.
Right, that
Or
was
are we like?
going to be my
Yes.
question.
You remember where you were a minute ago.
Ah, okay.
That's what that's like, Ari.
Okay.
Nicely
Thanks.
done. So we'll just pretend that was Ari's turn. Pog, make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, God. I'm in so much worse shape than the first time I made this run out of here.
Oh no! Oh no!
20.
All right. Three halves to one, so you take 1 point of fire damage. And from there, you were able to dash to Ari and Esri.
Okay.
Esri is stable, so he no longer needs to make death saves. And we're back around to the top. Tyrus. Tyrus looks around.
Poor guy.
No, indeed.
Listen, he's a monster, but you could still have
He
a
can
little
die
bit.
several deaths. How many people has he mutated? This is fine.
Gosh, there's no... The way you guys spread out, there's no good path. He's going to flee back this way.
Worked out well last time.
Yes. Well, he needs to make a dex save. Natural 20. Nice. And so he takes half, so he takes 4. Let's see, what was he at? Okay. So he was at...
How are you feeling, Casey?
It's really nice because I don't erase, I just cross out the old number, so I just have to sort of back up about how many rounds we had. So it's not too bad. All right, so that gets up to there. Yeah, he is going to back up here, and gosh, he doesn't want to throw fire anywhere else.
I mean, why worry about a raincoat when you're already wet? Am I right?
No.
I really don't think fire works that way. I don't think that advice
Eric,
applies.
you are confused about
So much for the
fire
empathy.
and water at one time.
Okay. What he will do then? Boy. He's going... he's going to cast Ice Storm.
So it'll be a rainstorm.
So
yes.
a hail of ice and hail begins to fall. I just said a hail of ice and hail. Begins to fall directly from the ceiling down into this area, creating just this pelting wall of sharp shards.
Only
of
time
ice.
Charlie Browning has been helpful. He's got the rain cloud right over him.
Yeah. So this path right here is the ice fall. So owlbears. So shade.
Yeah. Yep. This is a do-over.
Ari calls out, Esri's okay. I just got to get him out of here. Questionable if that's going to happen, but I'm keeping that to myself.
Okay.
I need to stress everyone else out.
I'm dragging Dane to the door. Ari said Esri's okay.
Okay. So with dashing, you can get over to here.
And then Cal.
All right.
So
Cal?
there are ice shards between Cal and Tyrus.
Falling from the sky, so Cal will go through the ice storm if he goes this way. He could try to
Where
go
there's
around.
fire.
This way. It's longer, but he can do that. There is fire.
Could he just face step to him to avoid the?
He has face stepped.
Oh, that's right. That's right. His is
We
one.
have no short rest, right? Yep.
Not his. I forget
Did he
that
and
his
I get a
one.
short rest while we chilled outside?
Should have taken a short rest before we time traveled. Dagnabbit.
Right.
Nothing makes you appreciate time travel less than being time traveled back into a burning building. It's like, I got to deal with some stuff first, and then I'll contemplate what just happened.
Yeah, Cal really hates this guy, so he is gonna go after Tyrus. He's not gonna go through the falling hail, though. He will go.
And just a move will get him around to here. So that would be his 50 feet. Because you'd have to go around the big planter.
And then he can't do anything from a distance, so he'll go ahead and use his action to get up on him.
Okay. Gnarly.
Hi. So I have a few questions. Is our inventory, does anything else reset, like our inventory or?
No.
Okay, so I currently have no health potions,
Correct.
only one dart, et cetera, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Am I back to being poisoned or am...
You are not. Nope.
All right,
Okay.
so everything is just as it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to say I'm going to re-rage up because the Shaper is alive again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's bad. What is my distance?
Well, you have a climbing speed, right?
Correct.
Because you're all scorpion-y. So
Correct.
the vertical obstacle here is not an obstacle to you. So
Nice.
he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's 40 feet from you.
Yeah. All right, I'd like to get right up on him.
I am imagining the bushes rustle slightly,
gosh.
and then gnarly.
Oh, yeah. Up and out, through.
Fantastic.
Teeth flashing. Yes, all of
Yeah.
it. And now I'm crazed. So we're going to start with claws, a claw attack.
Okay.
Form of the beast claws. So let's start the die. Well, that's a 5. Plus my +5, that would be 10. I imagine that does not hit.
10 does not hit.
All right. So let me take my second attack, please. That is a nat 20.
Yeah.
Nice.
Perfect timing.
Awesome. Okay, so roll the dice involved here, and then double the number on the die before
Okay.
you add your modifiers.
Before I add my modifiers. So with my claws, it's 1d6 plus 3.
Correct.
This guy. That
Let's
is a
go.
6.
Nice.
6 plus 3, so that's 9. And then you said double it before I add my modifiers?
That is correct.
Okay. So 9 and 9 is 18. And then I have 18 plus 3 and 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 18 and 5 is 23.
Describe how Nardoli kills Tyrus and
I
Thanos.
want to do this again so I can kill him. One more time.
Yep. I am coming across. I'm leaping out of the bushes like a lion with the paws outstretched. And I'm frankly going to come across his head, cross the claws, and then bring them back across to rip his head off.
Oh.
Gross.
Does that make like the swish,
Oh,
swish?
yes. Oh, yep. I totally understood that.
So it's got a TV 14 rating. Jeez.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Don't apologize.
Okay.
There is a spray of blood, and Tyrus's body just drops limp on the ground.
And I'm doing the typical leaning over, panting, blood dripping, heaving, all
Cal
of that.
appreciates that,
Yeah.
and he like nuzzles you, like he highly approves of that action.
I'm going to just allow Nardoli lets one claw drop and holds it against Cal. Mia would be all over this. Nardoli is just holding the claw against Cal, like the back of the claw. Touch.
Okay.
The end.
Ari.
Dex saving throw?
Dex saving throw.
16.
Hey. Take 2 fire damage.
Such a tease. Okay, so Ari can move 6 squares, so 1 to here. So carrying Esri.
Okay. Pog.
Moving. Dex saving throw.
Yep.
14.
Take 1 fire damage. Dice over here. Are with
I
you.
got that going for me. And onto the door. And
I was going to say with your 40 feet, you can get into the doorway,
yeah,
basically.
I will, and will set the books down, turning to survey. This time, has everyone made it back, or am I running back in again?
You can see that everyone except Nardoli is here.
And Cal, which is very concerning.
And Cal.
So, yeah, whatever dash distance to get back, because it's not on fire on Shade and Dane's side, right? Yep.
Correct.
I'm gonna use that to get back in and try to see them.
Okay. Esri, you are stable. So back to the top. Tyrus is no more. Shade, you can get Dane to the door.
Drop him off.
And
We'll
Cal,
grab the book off of dead Tyrus's body and just sprint back. Is the ice storm still there? Okay.
the hailstorm goes away because, yeah, you can't concentrate on spells when you're dead.
What?
Makes sense.
It's a flawed rule, in my opinion. I mean, you know.
Is it double movement if he dashes?
He would get all the way to
Okay.
here. Yep, so he would get all the way to here.
You said here-ish? I guess you can't see him until I drop him. Sorry.
A little farther.
Sweet.
Okay. Nardoli.
Nardoli is just going to follow Cal out.
Okay.
And do I need to do a dex saving throw running through?
You will not have to run through fire.
Did Cal grab the book again, or no?
Oh, wait. You will once. Yes, I need one deck save from you. I actually need one deck save from Cal, too.
Okay. That is, what is that?
24.
That is a 9
23.
and a 6. Shoot.
Cal takes 4 fire damage.
And I,
What'd you get?
11.
11. Okay. You are going to take 6 fire damage.
Ay, ay, ay.
You still standing, right?
Okey-doke.
Okay.
Yep, 3 hit points.
Excellent.
Not 0.
You should be
Correct.
able to be clear of the fire at this point. So, all right. Then, Ari, are you just getting to the door?
Yeah, I mean, do I need where I'm starting a deck saving throw?
Yep.
10, 12. 12.
Okay. Take 5 fire damage.
Ari drops Esri. He falls flat on his face. The
Of
heat,
course.
the heat just gets to be too much and just passes out.
Okay.
Yep.
Dog.
Esri takes falling damage.
So I can see that they have rounded the corner up high, and they are on a clear, fire-free pathway
Yep.
now, right?
You see them running towards you.
Okay, so then
Yes, this is the only.
I turn
fire-free
around
pathway at this point.
to see that Ari is fallen and burning, and drops Esri, and I have no precedent for this, but I would like to make a pitch.
Burning
Nope.
hands.
Nope. I would like to,
Fight
as
fire
he
with fire.
has in the past, I would like to pitch you the idea of me asking my spirit to help keep the damage from him, and at an expense, I'm sure, pass my relentless endurance to Ari and have him pop up as he hits the ground.
Ooh. Okay. Roll one of your hit dice.
It's a 5 plus 2, 7.
Take that damage.
Okay.
And Ari, as you collapse to the ground, you feel yourself enveloped by this warm presence. You see little flames flicker in front of your eyes, and this surge of adrenaline just rushes through you, and you are at 1 hit point and not 0.
I would like to say that what I asked of the spirit when I sent it that way was, he's with the light.
Cool. Nice. Awesome. Love it. Then we are back around. Shade. You can see Cal and Nuttily running towards you.
Excellent. I'm gonna go help Ari and Esri.
Okay. So at this point, we're all getting out.
It won't change what I do, but I do want to say that when Gnarly gets to me, Pog is going to ask, did he have anything cool on him? And then not go back to check, but is just going to ask that question.
Right.
What? No.
Awesome. Okay, so with the path roughly clear, you are all able to haul yourselves out the door. Shortly after, behind you, the building caves in, leaving behind the aforementioned pit full of twisted steel and glass. And You're standing on the slope down to the flooded fields.
Shade. What just happened?
Esri, you seem to be alive. Are you okay?
Esri's still unconscious.
Okay. Forgot about that.
But he's fine. Yeah, he's breathing.
That is better than not. I believe the Sphinx reversed time. Yep.
I don't feel like you're saying that with the amount of awe and confusion that warrants the words that just came out of your mouth.
The Sphinx is where you went?
Remember the first time we did that and then I disappeared? We went to see the Sphinx and I asked her for help and she said it was very dangerous and then Ari convinced her to do it anyways. And we popped up and then she's and then we were back where we were.
The house
rewound time
is gone, right, Philip?
Yeah, it's gone.
Is she okay?
I don't know.
She's
gone.
Maradi?
When did she go to?
You're not here still, right?
I imagine she would have appeared wherever she was at that point in the timeline in which we
and then gone back to her lair,
came back
right?
to. I would think so.
I also offered that she could stay at the mansion, so maybe she went back there.
Maybe. Anybody have anything to get Esri back on his feet?
Esri's the one that was carrying the healing potions. Do we have any healing potions left?
Used them all.
I think we burned through all of them.
There are some unidentified potions in Pog's possession.
That's true.
You would
Esri
love that, wouldn't
also
you,
being
Philip?
the person who could
Series
identify
of
them.
Vials. But
Are any of them red?
Absolutely.
Considering how much fire there was, I don't think red is good all the time. We should not use these until he wakes up and tells us we can use them.
Yes.
Maybe Nardily, will any of your people maybe have something if we just get them back out to the perimeter?
Nardily has been staring at the space where the greenhouse was. And I'm going to say her back is to you guys. And she turns around and just says, we can find out.
All right. Okay. And Ari stands up and grabs Esri's arms and pulls him up and awkwardly tries to pick up Esri's body.
Do you want me to
let's get
carry
moving.
him?
Yes, please.
On his way to take Esri from Ari's shoulder, gonna reach down, scruff Cal, and go, "You did good both times," and then take Esri.
Without Esri, the weight of Esri on Ari's literal and metaphorical shoulders, he turns to Dane. Dane, are you okay?
He's... he was making people into things.
Yeah.
Teodoro yesterday. Sarissa the day before that.
I'm sorry.
How do we know he hasn't done anything to you?
I don't. He was studying.
Do you feel like
me?
You see,
he was trying to Need to look at those books. He was trying to develop a way to track aberrant marks. The creature was supposed to be
Cool.
able to determine whether a target had an aberrant mark and strike only that creature.
Don't-
The creatures.
Don't we want to destroy the books then?
No, because he's not the only one working on it. That's what.
These books here, and Nardily like lunges for the books.
No. Dane, not very strongly, because he doesn't have a lot of. He's got 1 hit point. Attempts to interpose himself. He's not the only one trying to do it. That's what they were doing at the Cannith facility, too. They were trying to design the same thing, but from a mechanical angle. There's a competition between the leaders of the two enclaves. They're trying to track us again.
Does Esri have a healer's kit in his inventory? Or no? Okay. Just trying to think of anything to get you back.
He does have one. You find one potion on him, small vial.
I would definitely not just pour it on
Yeah,
him.
but Ari's been around Esri long enough to know not to just drink liquids found on
No
his
shot.
person. Did you hear the name Kepra at all while you were in here?
No.
Or see anyone by that name? Okay.
We need to get away from here.
Well, yeah, we definitely want to stop.
Shade
Yeah,
would
let's
pack
get-
up the books in her sack if Gnarly is not like opposing her.
Nardily stands there hesitant for a moment and assessing the situation and just steps back and lets it happen.
And then she takes the one from Cal's mouth and then gives him pats.
It's entitled "How I Did It" by
Kyle,
Tyler
you're
Smith.
getting all the bacon when we get home.
With forward by.
Okay, so you all are able to haul Esri and the things you have required back out. Esri is a slight person; he does not weigh a lot. And once you get,
One
Please.
thing visually from that fight, because of all the fire and the napalm and all that kind of stuff. The section of hair that covered Ari's mark has
Cool.
been burned away.
super cool.
His hair got burned off, so he's just got a weird strip right here of no hair.
Love it. You return to as you come back. You can see that the effect of killing the heart of the briar has spread. The briar has withered and collapsed in on itself, and what you are walking across is just a long waste of dead plant matter.
Keep an eye out for that crocodile.
You see no evidence of any of the creatures. And
Oh.
Everyone is free.
eventually you return to the edge of the
Except for that
briar
snake.
where the moon spears are standing with River. They run forward to greet you, and Zenaida gets an arm under Esri, and they drag him over to where there is a healer, a druid among the drow who is able to cast Cure Wounds on Esri. So Esri, you can regain 9 hit points, and you wake up in a circle of drow staring down at you.
Welcome back.
Soleil,
Morning.
what
Before
happened?
we go any further, can you give me an idea of what Esri experienced, if anything, in dying and time jumping while dead?
Esri experienced just sort of a vague, silent space of drifting mist. And then suddenly you almost felt yourself sliding backwards. And then you were there in exactly the same moment that you last saw. And
so
now
there
our
was a
current
moment
consciousness.
of consciousness before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's probably not clear to you what went down, but something
And
odd. Something
Nardily.
was odd.
Oh, sorry.
I don't really
I'm sorry. I was.
get up, but can I see? Who can I see?
Zenaida Moonspear is standing over you. There's a drow man with long braided white hair and way more tattoos than any of the rest of them. He's wearing a necklace of scorpion tails and is leaning over you and is clearly the one who has just cast the spell.
Okay, so I can't see any of them. Any of my crew.
No, you are crowded around by a group of drow.
Esri sits up and just pushes them out of the way as best he can,
They give you space.
and looks for.
You see your friends.
Do I see?
Soleil's just said,
Hey,
what
buddy."
happened?
Is Dane there?
Yes.
It
The
burned
shape.
down.
Super.
Dead.
Super
Twice.
dead. Both times.
Nardily.
It
Killed
is
him.
complicated. Double dead though. Nardily killed him. Yeah.
Nardily is looking at the moon spears very intently and just keeps saying, "It's over."
Soleil
It's
walks
over.
forward and places his hands on Nardali's shoulders, and then one hand sort of on the side of her neck, and then just pulls her in and crushes her against him in this embrace. And the various drow hunters run forward and begin circling around Nardali with these high, almost yip-like sounds as that probably the rest of you don't really grasp. Nardali, this is they're cheering you like this is, and there is a general commotion. Whatever the rest of you accomplished is lost in this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Ari goes over to Shade and just kind of puts a hand on Shade's shoulder. Are you okay?
I think so. I a lot happened.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you okay? You went down in there.
Yeah. I think I'll be fine. Not my first
Yeah,
time
but
you know,
maybe do that less.
doing that. I don't do it on purpose necessarily.
but
I mean, this time was it doesn't matter. I'm glad we made it out.
I'm glad the Sphinx thing worked.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was gonna happen.
I did not either. That was very weird. And
Do any of them look close, like real bad? Sorry, I don't know what everyone.
I have two.
I have one hit point.
Well,
I think
the answer to
Shade
that
has
is
two.
yes.
who do I like better?
We all
don't-
need a nap.
I don't think
I think we all know the answer to that question.
I think Cal is probably the only one who looks even moderately healthy.
Cal's doing great.
How are you doing, Pog?
I just kind of want to lay down for a little bit. If sometime I'm very sleepy.
Yeah.
Soleil breaks away from
the
circle of younger
go home?
warriors that are still moving around Nardali. Come, we will get back to one of our villages. We should leave this cursed place.
Please, forever and for always.
I will give Ari
anywhere is good.
I'll give Ari my last cure wounds. Come on, 5 hit points.
Aww, friendship.
And then, without saying anything at all, and then he's going to go right up to Dane, wherever Dane is, and get right in his face, and telepathically say, "Are you still you?" And he's just looking like straight in the eye.
I don't know what else happened in there, but I'm still me.
And I would like to make an insight check, please.
Sure.
25.
Oh,
Wow.
Dane is confident of what he said.
Okay. And without saying anything, they'll just turn away.
So the moon spheres usher you through the woods, not taking any precautions about noise at this point. And you are not actually taken very far. It's not all the way back to Stormreach. Instead, you are taken to a village, not of the moon spheres, but of one of the other tribes that sent hunters to the foray. And clearly some of the hunters have gone ahead because the village has turned out and is also cheering. You can see that even though it's daylight and the drow typically are a lot more active at night, the fires have been lit and food is being cooked. You are all ushered over under the sweeping boughs of an enormous tree that makes up the center of the village. And looking up, you can see that there are huts built into the branches of this tree that clearly make up a substantial portion of the village.
Love it.
And the you are brought to seats as the village goes to work, and in about an hour, yes, short rest if you want to track such things.
Nope.
I have no hit dice left.
neither do I.
Well, you get your spell slots back.
A 1, a 2.
A sumptuous, if for many of you unusual, feast is laid before you. There are a lot of things here that you have never seen and that you can't necessarily identify as creatures from the deep jungle that the drow consume. The old man that healed Ari, or healed Esri, sorry, comes to you, and I am called Skander. You are honored guests of the Black Claw tribe. You have taken away a terrible taint from this world, a terrible curse upon us, and we would honor you.
Thank
River is
Food and drink are brought. Colin, be a grown up. Stop it.
I can't. It's because I was going to say something funny back as Pog and then got lost in Colin.
River is with us, right?
I had
River
the
is
thought
with
and then
you,
looked
yes.
at Colin. And,
The Drow are not entirely sure what to do with River, but they don't seem frightened of her.
same.
A number of the older Drow do frequently sit and talk with her, as the night goes on. They seem to view her as something more amazing than alarming.
As they should. Shade is attempting to just check in with River, and she does that by just explaining what's happening. But obviously this is a different culture, so it's not actually super helpful. It's just like, they're bringing us food.
They say I am. I don't exactly understand their speech, but they say I am daughter of Roa.
Oh. That is...
Beam of the spear.
That is high
That is
praise.
dagger.
I don't know.
This is named Roa's Talon.
Who is Roa?
Casey, the player, forgot a lot of the description, but they did explain it to
Yeah,
us.
but it was explained to us.
Yes.
Gowerneck talked about Roa.
They did a little bit. Make a religion check to see if you know more than the little bit that Galranok talked about.
With a 3, I feel like I probably don't.
Yeah,
I forgot who Galranok is.
Galranok talked about a being called Roa of the Jungle Leaves, but didn't really go into that. It seemed to just be something that Galranok assumed as knowledge rather than explaining it. So,
Well, and Shade's a bad listener when it comes to that, because she just assumes that if you're talking about a forest deity, it's just your variation of the Forest Queen.
sure.
Ari finds his way with like a split scorpion tail with like some kind of like food
Awesome.
in
Like
the
a
middle
lobster
of it.
tail, like a lobster tail, but a
Lobster
scorpion
has a
tail.
Yeah, but it's a scorpion. And he sits down with it on his plate and just kind of stares at it next to Esri and just. So, any weird visits to any ladies this time? And Esri or Ari just takes a bit and just.
Can I ask for a sort of a scene painting? And in
You're seated under a tree.
specifically, I'd like to know where Nardali
Good.
is, or if I know where Nardali is.
You're seated under a tree, and as the night has gone on, lamps hanging at the ends of the drooping branches of this tree have become lit, so that the whole tree above you is lit with this firefly-like lamps. The drow are partying. The drow are dancing and singing around the fires in celebration of this victory that they have won. there's clearly an invitation for you all to join in this, but no one's like coming and dragging you in. The drow respect personal space. So
Bog's in it.
but you are all obviously seated in a...
Bog's moshing.
Yeah, I
there.
had to think that Pog was out
You all
there
are
getting
seated
it.
in
Yeah.
places of honor, and I will leave it to Mia as to whether Nardali is joining in this celebration or if Nardali is holding herself aloof in any way.
Nardali is holding herself aloof in most ways. She does not want. She doesn't feel comfortable celebrating her achievements. So she is on the edge. She's got a drink in hand. I would like to say that she is engaged in some conversation with Dane.
Okay.
And that's what we got.
Of course
Well,
you do.
you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Dane is also over there. Dane
He
is,
saved her.
Well, and Dane didn't do
Yeah,
this
no, I'm
deed
just-
that everyone is celebrating, and so Dane is making sure that he is not taking the spotlight from everyone. He's obviously concerned, but he's also trying not to ruin this moment. So yeah, Dane is over there, and he's talking to Nardali, mostly trying to. He's asking lots of questions about what he's seeing as this night plays out. Dane does not have much local knowledge for Zendrick, and so doesn't know much about the Drow, and so he's allowing Nardali to be a guide here as to what the various aspects of this mean.
And also, while this is happening, Nardali is not like super friendly and open. She's still just checking him out, making sure that he is who he says he is.
Okay.
Because there's not full trust
Yeah.
there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's where Nardali
So that's
is.
where
So
that's where
Esri
Nardali is.
stands up, plucks like a chunk out of the food, just says no, and walks towards Nardali and eats it. And he will walk
bye.
walk up to her until he catches her eye, hopefully. I don't know if I can dictate that or not, but if he does, he will say to her telepathically, "Can I have a word?" And then just sort of like walk by her away from the party.
He does catch her eye because she's always on alert, and she excuses herself from Dane and follows Esri.
So when they're just a little bit away, you killed him?
Second time, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a better. No, later. Was his head intact?
I'm sorry,
so-
Mia
I
did
forget
not hear
my
that.
mic
Was his
just
head
came
what?
up. Was his head intact?
Oh, I mean, it wasn't connected to
that's
his
fine.
body at the end, and most of the front of it was gone.
How much of the front of it? Like, still have a mouth?
Nardali holds up her hand, says about this much worth.
Wow.
That was awesome.
Oh, you're wrong.
Never gonna let you leave.
Did you find your way back tonight?
We're never going to give you up.
Find my way back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back to that place. Why?
need his head.
Can I control my ears
Sure.
as a drow?
Of
Like,
course
are
you
they
can.
okay?
Why not?
Right. Ears perk up, eyes narrow, pupils narrow, and look very squarely and intently at Esri. Why?
So I can talk to it.
What
I need to know.
What do you want to learn?
If they knew we were coming.
What difference would that make?
It would tell me if I have a man to kill or not.
I'm gonna have to talk to my people about that.
All right.
Okay. Is Shade dancing?
Yes, but in an attempt to explain what's happening to River. So she
Awesome.
wants River to be comfortable with, you know, different cultures, and she wants River to be comfortable in this environment, and so she invites River to go out with her. She's super weird about it. She's like,
That's exactly how River dances. River doesn't actually understand the foot part of dancing, and so for River, it's just very much her little.
Did you just say that river dances without footwork? Is completely not the way river dances work.
Opposite.
While they're out there
Right,
in
no,
between
you're right.
songs, Pog's gonna walk over, all sweaty and breathless, and just kind of squat down and tell River, "You were so good. You were so good, and I'm so glad that you came to help us."
It was okay that I rescue.
Yes. You should probably make sure that you tell people before you leave. And if we're not there, let Miss Thora talk to her. But today, the strike force is all here because you rescued us. So, thank you.
Yes.
Good job. And then Pog walks back in and starts doing the Wolf of Wall Street dance. Yeah. Nightmare fuel.
As when the moon reaches its height, without any apparent signal to the rest of you, everything sort of stops. And Skander walks out by the fire and says, "Today, Vulkor has brought us new champions to cleanse his jungle." And his hands sweep around to take in Strike Force and Nardali and River. And there's a waiting pause. Nardali, you know that it is expected that you will stand up and come into the center.
Right. And so Nardali does.
Shade will follow.
I feel like Ari would be adept enough at social situations to follow the person that seems to know what they're doing. So, yeah, Ari
Fog's there.
hop up from where he's seated.
Once Shade gets up, River gets up. What's Esri doing?
He never came back.
Oh.
Oh dear.
He
Where is the other of your party?
Esri?
I don't know. Esri?
Oh, how did we not watch him go?
Fine.
I tried to talk to him and he got up. I'm sorry, sir. We don't know where he went off to. He may just be off by himself, thinking,
You
contemplating.
did die
He had
today.
a rough day.
Anyway,
And
please proceed.
he gestures, and Soleil and Zenaida and a couple of the other hunters come forward, and there are Zenaida has a tray, just a slab of wood, and laid on it are the tails of what must have been fairly large scorpions. And Skander turns. Where will Vulcor mark you?
Fog's gonna defer and look at Nardali to see this is what does she have to say?
Nardali turns her back and kind of flexes her shoulder blades.
And Skander takes one of the scorpion tails and walks over, and holding it almost like a quill, you see him press so that a bead of the venom forms on the barb, and then he digs the barb into Nardali's back and slowly traces a rune on her back. And Nardali, you feel the scorpion venom, as you have many times, burn and slowly leave behind the what will eventually become the usual white scar of a scorpion venom tattoo.
And she's quiet throughout it.
Ari, on brand.
When you are quiet throughout it, the other younger hunters pound their fists against their thighs as they sit on the ground in a circle around.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
Oh no! I want this in real life.
Ari, on brand, takes his shirt off and indicates. And there's been a.
Ari says, "Give me a minute," and begins working on the happy.
Ari's like, because he's been in melee combat, and just this was kind of in my head canon, the transformation with the whole Forgotten Prince thing. Ari's not like skin and bones anymore. It's like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 1 when he looks in the mirror the first time. Just
sinewy.
Yeah. Just yeah. But he has the
Wiry.
he has the mark from Hular's family here, and so he indicates on the opposite side here.
And Skander takes the scorpion tail, comes over.
And Ari's going to try real hard. He's going to try real hard to look tough. He's got 1 hit point, or 6 hit points, so he might go down.
As he leans close, Skander puts a hand on your arm and squeezes and whispers very quietly. It is okay to flinch. And then squeezes and begins to draw. Give me... You know what? Decide. Does Ari successfully maintain his composure throughout. It burns. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
no,
you know,
I can't imagine Ari does. Like, he's got a
Okay.
1 Constitution modifier, so no. Ari tries, but he definitely just winces.
It is a good-natured. There's a good-natured bit of chuckling.
Ari's used to that. I mean,
Among
Marcus
not,
brothers, like,
not derisive
Yeah.
or anything like that, but just a good-natured chuckle as everyone can see that this is your first Venom tattoo,
Yeah.
and so
everyone's got to get their first at some point.
no one asked if any of you have allergies to scorpion venom beforehand. So I was-
Latex gloves.
who's next?
Shade would go after Ari. Shade closes her eyes and becomes human looking. And because she's in her normal fox form, she just wears her I keep calling it a vest. I know it's not just a vest. Her armor. And so when she's in her human
armor,
form,
yeah.
you can just see the mark all across her arm, and so she indicates that she would like the shoulder of her other arm, same spot, just opposite shoulder.
And Skander comes, takes another scorpion tail, squeezes the bead and digs into your arm. Does Shade flinch?
She does not.
Again, there's the rattle of fists pounding on thighs among the young warriors. After Shade, River kind of looks. It is all right.
It is totally up to you. This is my first time doing this, and if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Is this what Donabella calls quest?
You have gone on a quest and you have succeeded, and Donabella will be so impressed. I cannot communicate how impressed she will be.
Very
Super
jealous.
jealous.
Yeah, but she also
So
might be a little
River's-
bit sad.
Oh, I'm really worried that.
So River's skin is sort of nut brown and has whorls like wood grain sometimes does in its pattern. And so she gestures to a spot high on the side of her face where there is one of these whorls that's somewhat predominant, but with a space in the center of it. As Skander,
Oh, it stings.
as Skander starts to draw the tattoo, you see the golden sunlight sort of fade out of River's eyes, and there is this just faint blue limning to the to the
Shade
edges of her
holds
eyes.
her hand.
And then as it ends, her eyes go back to normal. There is a murmur among the drow because they didn't know how to interpret that, but it was cool.
Pog's mark being visible on the side of his head and down the back of his neck. He pulls his beard to the side to expose the left side of his neck to be marked on front left. Kind of turns to flex.
Tattoo.
Skander comes forward and holds enough of your garments aside and traces down along the neck. And
Pog does not flinch, but as soon as it's done, he lets out a deep.
all of the draw hunters surge to their feet and come around you all, congratulating you and slapping you, and if at all possible, slapping you on the spot where you were tattooed.
Ow. Okay.
And that is so real for the tattoo world. So Pog's holding his beard and taking every slapping on it because this is a tribe.
So Esri, where are you?
when Gnarly didn't come back, he started walking in what he thinks is the right direction. And at a certain point, I have, I guess, some of my mark abilities left. So he'll I don't know of a poetic way to say this. As hard as he can, channel his mark to speak with dead and just sort of shout for Arandis to see if she can hear him.
Okay. Make for me just a straight wisdom check to try and impose your will on this magic that you are still learning.
18 total.
18. A very different voice from the one you heard before. What?
Does it have a direction, or is it in my head?
No, it's just... Who are you?
Esri, well, are you Arandis?
What do you want with Arandis?
We met, elsewhere. When, sort of. I need a guide.
To where?
Where Blackbriar, right? Where
Blackbriar.
Where Blackbriar was. Do you know it?
You are Esri.
Yes. I'm marked the same way Arandis is, or was.
Would you please make a wisdom saving throw?
20. Oh, excuse me. I have advantage. 24.
You feel a sense of because you rolled very high, you feel a sense of something looking for you.
Is it malevolent? Is that possible to tell?
You're not really sure.
I mean, if I can open myself up to it, I will.
Okay. I see you. We should speak soon.
Okay.
And then there is a will-o'-the-wisp a little ways ahead of you. It will guide you where you wish to be.
Thank you. And yeah,
And the presence is withdrawn. You follow the will-o'-the-wisp back to the expanse of dead briar. Crossing it, Make a perception check for me.
8, natural 1.
Okay.
That makes sense.
You are very close when you realize that there is someone else about the ruins.
Very close, as in, like, they see me, or
You're coming up the path. You're coming up the path when you realize it.
do I guess what I'm asking is, do I have an
So
opportunity
you're walking,
to avoid?
You're walking up.
them? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. I will hide. I will. Yeah. Try to hide and try to observe them.
Yeah. You throw yourself down in the grass. Crawling to the edge of the crashed-in pit, you see two figures moving about in the ruins towards the far end from where the cabin stood. One is very large, perhaps 15, 20 feet tall. The other is human-sized.
I mean, clearly a giant then, or okay.
Yeah, fairly clearly a giant, yeah. And after a moment, the human-sized one stoops and says, I think I've found him. And the giant gradually decreases down in size until it is merely the size of a very, very big humanoid, perhaps 8, 9 feet tall, still very big. And you hear a deep rumbling voice. The figure leans down and clears away heaps of bits of metal and glass and stone, and they haul out a broken corpse, broken and crushed, and just, where is the head? And the figure slides down into the pit they have dug, and after a moment comes climbing back out, hauling the head of Tyrus by his hair. You have dark vision
No.
as a Kalashtar?
Famously, the only member
The
of the
one
party
without
that
it.
is
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Then give me a perception check for this.
Wow, I have a +7 perception. 10.
You want to push?
Sure. Oh, no, that's inspiration. There we go. 15. I'll stick with 15. You know what?
15 will do it.
Here. That's fine.
15's enough. There's enough moonlight glinting off of the various shards of broken glass that you recognize the human-sized figure as Tommel.
Well, F.
And the big person leans down, takes the head up, lifts it up in his hands, looks down at it. This will do. Bring the rest. And turns, holds his hand out, and a gate opens in the air, which he steps through. Tommel lifts the body over one shoulder, picks up what you now see as a glaive-shaped object that he is carrying in the other hand, and walks through the gate. And the gate closes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we'll pick up next time.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's
Man,
what
that was
feels
really
like,
cool
Mia.
of you, because I was gonna go meanwhile and do that. So it was even better. That was so great.
Yay!
Thank Mia.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us
Oh,
for
my
another
goodness.
adventure.
Oh! Yay! Thank thank you guys again so much for letting me be a part of this.
This was so much fun.
Too much fun.
I was excited to
Yay.
have a chance to bring Gnarly along for something other than just a gladiatorial game where we could learn a little more about it. So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you all so much for watching us. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can find links to all of our social media in the description down below, along with links to our merch store and our Discord and Colin's Twitch, where he is sorry BTR. The O is a 0, as well as a link to Mia's Twitch, where she is more than a Mia. New Khyber Shards every Monday. Khyber Shards answers every Friday. You can submit questions in comments or over on our Discord. And until next time, thanks for rolling with us.